P.B. Shelley, born in 1792, a romantic poet of his era, one of the most important among all English poetry of romantic era, who graced English poetry in the first quarter of the 19th century. Shelley was perhaps most vitally inspired. He was essentially different from his great contemporaries. He stood rather alone in his age as a poet of a forlorn hope of mankind. All of English poets, Shelley is most completely lyrical. Lyricism is found one of the most important and one of the most rampant that is one of the most key feature of his poems, what he illustrates through writing uh, to a skylark, to night, or to the west wind, the cloud, and so on. More characteristics of Shelley are some long and elaborate poems which are lyrical in spirit though not in form, like Adonais, lines written in the Euganean Hills, and a few others. Shelley's lyrical notes are, however, most perfect in some of his poems, which are rather of a moderate length. Such poems are Ode to the West Wind, To a Skylark, The Cloud, and Ode to Naples. To the Night is a short poem, but it retains well Shelley's characteristic lyricism in his content and form. Shelley's impulsiveness is promoted by his idealism. That is, his lyrics are full of high ideals. His idealism is noted well in his celebrated works like Ode to the West Wind, To a Skylark, written among the Euganean Hills, and the highest point of Shelley's idealism is perhaps reached in his message of resurrection to the dark and heedless world in his great lyric Ode to the West Wind. Major works Adonais, To a Skylark, Ode to the West Wind, To Night, The Cloud, Ode to a Naples are important. Shelley's poetry is intensely personal, although it is never like Byron's an advocacy of his own self. His poems are found to echo his joy, hope, and sorrow is a profound measure. Impulsiveness is found to characterize all prominent Shelleyan lyrics. That is, in Ode to the West Wind, for instance, the poet's deep and strong emotion is found at the full fire. Another aspect of his poetry writing, that is, Ode to the West Wind, for instance, Shelley speaks out much of his own self. The poem contains Shelley's romantic self revelation of his revolutionary zeal, personal despondency, and prophetic vision. The poet finds a kinship between his own self and the wind that is swift, impulsive, and uncontrollable. He also speaks of his own sufferings, the pangs of life to which he is subjected, and he also gives out here his optimistic ideal of the millennium to come. Shelley's use of imagery is another important characteristic or quality of lyric poetry. Shelley's lyric mark his wonderful imaginative potency. He catches and presents in unforgettable poses different elements of nature, whether external, natural objects, or the little birds of nature. Thanks for listening and watching this video. Have a good day to all of you. Happy learning to all of you. Thank you so much once again.